And tonight we are looking at how this government shutdown will affect you at home. Good evening, I'm Mitch Carr.
And I'm Kate Capodanno. The United States has been here before. A standoff between lawmakers forcing furloughs and a pause in services. Local organizations have learned from those experiences and say they have plans in place.
And that is why we bring in our own Austin Hicks, who talked to organizations that rely on federal dollars to operate. So, Austin, what kind of programs are at risk here? And so federal employees, they're not going to be getting paid during this shutdown, right? And how is that going to impact a couple of different things here, our travel and our hobbies, the things we do in our free time? All right, Austin, thank you very much for that. Now, this shutdown has lawmakers pointing fingers from across the aisle. Republicans say Democrats are picking a fight. Meanwhile, Democrats say the Trump administration is not taking their concerns about health care seriously.
I don't know what their end game is.
Democrats like Virginia Senator Mark Warner say their end game is clear. They want to protect health care coverage. The tax credits that make health insurance through the Affordable Care Act more affordable since the COVID pandemic are set to expire at the end of the year. Republican Congressman Morgan Griffith says the funding package that had been proposed would have funded the government for just 7.5 more weeks, and that would give time for lawmakers to decide the future of those tax credits. This is the 11th government shutdown since 1980. The longest government shutdown was the one before this one, and that lasted 35 days between the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019. And only the new incoming Congress could end that shutdown. The most government shutdowns occurred under President Reagan, who went through 4 of them. And the U.S. government went 16 years from 1996 to 2012 without any government shutdowns. Since that time, though, we have had 4 as of now. So why is that? In order to fully fund the government long-term, Congress actually has to pass 12 separate spending bills. Since 2013, and I think we all know this, Congress has not been able to agree on very much. So it has relied on short-term funding bills known as continuing resolutions to avoid shutdowns. The failure of a continuing resolution to pass yesterday and again today is why the government is once again shut down. Good evening, I'm Mitch Carr. Kate Capodanno is on assignment. We thank you for joining us, and we begin tonight with breaking news out of Roanoke. An airplane has run off the runway at Roanoke-Blacksburg Regional Airport. It was a United flight from Dulles International Airport from the D.C. area bound for Roanoke. Now, thankfully, no one was injured according to the Virginia State Police. We do know right now that the airport road exit, so if you're going on Hirschberger and you're going east toward Williamson, that flyover is closed. It's blocked off. All the runways at the airport are closed. Obviously, no planes are leaving or coming in. We understand that at the end of the runway, there's something called an engineered material arresting system. This is concrete blocks that are at the end, and they absorb the wheel, and the plane basically gets stuck in there, and that is how a plane can come to rest after running off the end of the runway. This all happened around 10 o'clock. We are currently awaiting an update from a media briefing from the folks from the airport and the Virginia State Police. And when we learn more, we will give that to you. We may even be able to take that briefing live if it happens during news time. But the most important thing for you to understand at this point is that there is a plane at the Roanoke-Blacksburg International Airport, that is a regional airport, that is off the runway. And there are no injuries at this time. So please stick with us as we continue to learn more. And you are watching a live media briefing right now at the Roanoke-Blacksburg Regional Airport. Again, to recap what happened, at 9:18, an airplane came in from Dulles in the Washington, D.C. area, and it ended up going off the end of the runway. Exactly how it went off the runway, what happened, we have not gotten an explanation as to what happened there. In fact, the Virginia State Police is on the scene right now. They are still investigating exactly what caused that aircraft to go off of the edge of the runway. What we do know is that it hit something that's called an engineered materials arresting system at the end of the airport. These are padded concrete blocks. So even though it goes off the edge of the runway, the wheels get stuck in the padded concrete blocks. They break those blocks. That arrests the momentum of the airplane, and it stops. Most importantly here, we know that there were no injuries in this case. Also, she mentioned, that was Alexa Briel. She is the public information officer for the airport, and she mentioned earlier that this is the first time that that EMAS system has been used after being installed in the spring of 2024. There are no flights coming into or going out of the airport at this time. If you're going to pick somebody else up at the airport, you need to check their flight status. They may have ended up at another airport. And that'll do it for WDBJ 7 News at 11. Stephen Colbert will be next.
My name is Mitch Carr. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with us, and more importantly, you are here with the rabid Blue Demon fans from Christiansburg. You want to see how fired up they are?
Tell them,
Let's show you. All right, come on over, Monica. Let's do this. Are you all ready? Here we go. See what? See what? See what? See what? All right, I think they heard him in Appomattox. Let's go over to Logan. Logan's got a relay race between the kids and the staff. Well, what they had to say was that the Lord helped them to win this. Also, their superior athletic skill. So let me talk to team number 3 over here. You said you were going to be the winning team, Simone. That did not happen. So what went wrong?
Bryson on whatever team, he did false start crazy.
So we have rampant accusations of cheating here. We're off to a great start with Fired Up Friday. Not to worry, though. When we come back, we're going to talk to some of the students here. They're going to redeem Christiansburg High School. We're going to take it over to Logan now, because one thing that we have kind of neglected at this point is the cheer team. And there's a great cheer team over here. They've got these bows on. They say, fear the bow. They even offered me some of these heart pink sunglasses, which you may see in a future segment. It's Breeley. Breeley's up. Breeley, let's see if you can make this happen.
Got the cheer going on.
Oh, it's good! It's good! It's good! Breeley, come here! High five! We got a winner!
He's a tall fella. If he extends his leg, look at he also tried to take out the photographer. What is going on here? We need one more football. Mitch, you ain't getting a call from Coach either.
I am not getting a call from Coach. What have we learned?
Neither
We're
one of
a
us
couple of
kickers.
old men who can't do it. I think I actually hurt my shoulder somehow when I was kicking.
You got some on your face,
and I don't
too.
really know what happened.
It's a flavor saver right there.
All right, I think we lost a hamstring and a shoulder and potentially all of our dignity. But we're going to come right back on Fired Up Friday, and we're going to recover, all right?
Thank you for hanging out with us. What were you saying about tonight?
I was saying that we've got Fired Up Friday here because Christiansburg is hosting Pulaski. You can see that and many, many more games tonight on FFE Friday Football Extra. Charlie Kirk held an event today at Utah Valley University. Just minutes into this Q&A, while answering a question about mass shootings, a single shot rings out and appears to hit Kirk in his neck. The crowd rushes to safety while Kirk is carried away, taken to the hospital. His death announced just hours later. Earlier today, the FBI said a person of interest was in custody, but that person has since been released. There's currently no one in custody for this assassination. Charlie Kirk was scheduled to attend an event at Virginia Tech on September 24th. He was also set to appear at Liberty University's convocation 1 month later on October 24th. Kirk was 31 years old, and he leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. President Trump is responding tonight on Truth Social, saying in part, quote, Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie, end quote. The president has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff through Sunday at 6 p.m. Governor Glenn Youngkin also responded, saying in part, Suzanne and I are stunned and grief-stricken by the brutal murder of Charlie Kirk today. We are praying for his beautiful wife and young family, end quote. When Charlie Kirk was shot, his security team swarmed in to try to save his life because after the principal, and that is what the security guards call the person they're guarding, the principal, after the principal is injured, they are trained to try to save his life. But how did it ever get to that point? We spoke with a local private security consultant about that shooting today. I understand that Charlie Kirk was actually supposed to be at Virginia Tech in 2 weeks and that you were going to be on a security detail for that event. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, I do have a confidential client that was probably going to attend this event, so I was aware of the event and was doing some pre-planning for that event.
Well, take me through that, because all of these events most of the time are planned ahead. There is some pre-planning that you as security have to do to make sure that your client is going to be safe. What goes into the planning phase before an event like this?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And a lot of people are comparing this to what happened to Donald Trump. But when you take a Donald Trump and you have a government security detail, the resources are just multitude above what we can do as a private security. So what we try to do, we work within the budget that we're given by our clients, but we will reach out to local law enforcement in the area, local resources in the area. We'll do a site survey of what the site's like. Outdoors is a nightmare, as you see of this.
Well, and let me ask you about that too, because this is an outdoor area.
Yes.
We don't know if there were metal detectors, magnetometers, as you said, as people are going in and out of this area, but multi-level rooftops, outdoors, it seems like it's impossible to control.
It's very difficult. You have what we do in both the government and private side is we do what we call concentric circles of security. So of course you have your close team that's right around the principal, but then you hopefully have enough resources that you can push that out. And when you have an outdoor venue like this, now you have to start looking at lines of sight. Somebody can reach out and touch you. Nowadays there's guys doing, 2-mile shots with rifles. Now, of course, it would be impossible to go out that far, but we try to at least have a screen to where we can see out and at least see out far enough to see lines of sight. Hopefully have people checking the crowds out in that area, checking. But it's very difficult to defend in a situation like this. So that's why it's always planning, more resources, and pushing your perimeter out as far as you can.
And the preliminary reports at this point are that it was a person with a rifle, a single shot from 100 to 200 yards away. That sounds very much like what happened with President Trump last summer. And so my question to you is, do you just have to stop having outdoor events because this is such a possibility? If you have a high-profile person like this, a Charlie Kirk, a governor, a president, do you just have to have everything inside to be able to secure things like that?
Well, when you talk about a Charlie Kirk or a Donald Trump, that's just not in their nature. They want to be out there. They know the risk, and they believe so strongly in what they're pushing that they're willing to put their lives in danger for what they believe. And they're relying on their security to keep them as safe as possible during these things. And if you stop having these events, then you let the evil win.
All right, this is Chris Rigoni. He is the founder, the owner of Executive Security Concepts. Chris, thank you very much.
And we're going to start with Mitch Carr, who is in Richmond tonight with our governor-elect, Abigail Spanberger. Mitch, how are the Democrats celebrating this evening?
Kate and Natalie, the festivities have ended here at the Greater Richmond Convention Center, and they have spilled out onto the streets of Richmond. There were a lot, and I mean a lot of happy people around here as these folks saw the election of a number of firsts. Of course, Abigail Spanberger, the first ever female governor-elect in Commonwealth history. We have Ghazala Hashmi, who is the lieutenant governor-elect, and she is the first Muslim woman to win statewide office anywhere in the country. And then, of course, there's Jay Jones, the first ever black attorney general-elect. And so the folks that support the Democrats here were very, very happy. Now, as for Abigail Spanberger, she came out and hit the stage around 8:35. She spoke for about a half an hour. She said a number of things, saying that Virginians had chosen to turn the page. She reached out specifically to the supporters of Winsome Earl Sears, saying that she wanted to unite the Commonwealth. And she defined Commonwealth as everybody working together for the common good. Here is a little flavor of some of what she had to say as far as Virginians sending a message. Now, the races for Ghazala Hashmi and Jay Jones were called a little bit after, and they came out and spoke a little bit after. Hashmi said that her election represents punching holes in the darkness, while Jay Jones did not reference his text message specifically. But he said this has been a difficult campaign, and here's a little bit more about what he had to say after his victory speech in defeating incumbent Republican Jason Miyares. Now, while you think about Jay Jones's words, think about this. Republicans won all three of these statewide offices just 4 years ago. And they had the lieutenant governor who's in the current administration running for governor, and she did not win. Now, Governor Youngkin is going to have a 9 a.m. press briefing tomorrow, and you have to believe that a topic of conversation is going to be how do they go from sweeping all statewide offices to getting swept just 4 years later. And we will ask him that tomorrow morning. Back to you.